All right, my name is Dayon Freeman, and I'm taking Southern Culture. I have Mr. Jody Blackwell, who has agreed to answer a few questions concerning agriculture. Uh, Jody, I want to thank you for agreeing to help me out with my project in this Southern Culture class. All right. So, Jody, I understand you was raised on a farm. What was it? Excuse me. Was the farm owned by your family or someone else?
Actually, it was owned by someone else, and we were caretakers on the farm in exchange for housing.
Okay.
This was in 1975.
Okay.
So that gives you an idea of the
Okay.
time frame.
Right. So tell me, what was an average day like out on a farm?
Well, this was a primary beef cattle farm and hay, and we actually raised crops on the side just to sell locally and for our own food. But we had 14 cows that we had to take care of, and they were all registered Black Angus. You know, there was constantly fence work that had to be done, you know, because cattle couldn't get out. I mean, we lived next to the railroad, and we've actually had the cows get out on the railroad, and the train would have to stop. I'd have to go over there and get the cows off the railroad track so that the train could come on through at times. But you always had to take care of the cows. You had to make sure they had all their shots. You'd have to have vets out. I had the cattle chutes where you could work on the cattle. If you had little bulls and they wasn't going to make bulls, you'd have to castrate them. This was one of the things that we had to do. You would think 14 cows, that's not much, but it was actually a lot of work. You had to feed them every day. And we also had, we raised rabbits, and actually raised the rabbits for food. It wasn't for pet. Well, and under the rabbits, we actually had worms going. I mean, it created a whole cycle of this farm, you know, that these are things you do on the farm to survive.
Okay.
It wasn't, you know, there wasn't money involved. It was work.
Mm-hmm.
It was two different, you know, it wasn't like, man, you're making a lot of money here. No, I was surviving, you know. And,
Huh.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So what would you say your favorite thing to do on the farm was?
I love to cut hay,
Did you?
bale hay. You can get out there for, you knew for 4 days if you had good weather, you had to get that hay down, get it cut, get it dried, get it in windrows, and get it baled, and get it in the barn. And it was not like, well, we'll get it when we can. No, you've got this window. And in farming and in putting up hay, you have a very distinct time when this grass is growing that it's at its peak. That's when you cut it. You don't just cut it at any point. You cut it when, actually, I always like to use the moon, because of the full moon, that means that the juices of that grow the plant are up high into the plant. So when you cut it, this dries into the plant, which gives more nutrients.
Wow.
But yeah, baling hay is just, it's a real pleasure. It's hard work.
Yeah.
But it, you know, and we actually had 2 tractors. You know, you had one tractor, and I didn't have the modern equipment. We just had a sickle. We didn't, and at that time there were other tools that they used in the farming industry. They would actually have these rollers. It was just like the old ringer washers, and they would squeeze the juice back out of the grass so it would dry quicker, and they could actually bale it in 2 days. And for me, I always thought, you're defeating your purpose of the nutrients in the plant when you squeeze the juice back out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, baling hay, working with the cattle, I knew every one of them. They knew me. You know, we actually we knew our personalities.
You and the cattle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
So the
I
cattle
mean,
is more like
and every
pets.
cow is different. It's
Okay.
just like anything else.
Okay.
It really is.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just mentioned to me about the tractor that you use and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit more about the machinery that you use. I know you said that y'all didn't have all the modern equipment.
Yeah, well,
I know you have
we had one diesel tractor.
Okay.
It was the newer tractor that you used when you were operating the baling machine, because it just takes a lot to push that baler.
Okay.
And to keep the RPMs up to get, to make your bales of hay. You had it was called a windrow. And what this done, it actually, after you cut the hay, you'd go through there, and this was an old gas tractor, an old 1950s Ford 900 was this tractor. And it would actually take the hay and just throw it up in the air and allow the air to get into it. And once it dried, then you'd come back and you'd roll it up into a windrow.
Okay.
And it'd be this wide and this high, and then you drive over it with the baling machine, and it picks every bit of that up and cuts it to the exact length. It's always sitting there cutting that hay and making these bales. It's 40 to 50 pound bales of hay.
Okay.
And it just kicks it out. And you would hire kids in the community to come and help you get, I had money available to me from the owner to be able to pay people to
Help you get to work.
help get that hay in the barn before it rained.
Okay.
And we had several times, that was a real issue.
Okay. So you would get other people in the community to help out also?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the community, everyone stuck together and worked together.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
A lot of pleasure in that. A lot of pleasure in that. When you look back on it, you realize you accomplished something.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And,
That's awesome. Jody, I want to thank you for your time with helping me out with my project. It means a whole lot to me, and I'm pretty sure the video will reach some people and mean a lot to them also. Thank you.
you're welcome.